What's up, guys? Welcome back to the dev channel. My name is Max and this is Max Codes. Now in this video I want to kind of mix things up a bit and just answer a really simple question that some of you might not have a clear understanding of. So I just wanted to make a quick 3 to 4 minute video just kind of explaining or at least showing why AutoLayout or NSLayoutConstraint or Programmatic AutoLayout cannot be used within SwiftUI. Now, it's kind of hard to explain, so I'm not really going to explain it, but I'm going to show you it, okay? I'm going to show you why it's not possible, and it's pretty simple, but let's just go ahead and take a look at some code so I can show you why you can't really do it. All right, welcome back. So now that you know kind of what we're going to be doing in this video, let's go ahead and just talk about why we can't really use SwiftUI with AutoLayout constraints or vice versa. Okay, so if you go to the link that you see right here, or if you just watch it here on the screen, you'll see that somewhere in this paragraph, it talks about the declarative syntax of Swift, okay, the declarative Swift syntax. Now, this is kind of a big reason that SwiftUI exists, okay, is actually to eliminate the need for AutoLayout constraints. And declarative Swift syntax kind of makes this possible, okay? You'll see that right here, they declare a list with an image, a VStack, and it kind of all just displays on the screen. Now, this works seamlessly with all of the devices within the Apple ecosystem, right? And that's because SwiftUI was actually designed to not use so concrete, specific AutoLayout constraints. So it's actually a very, 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 very good thing that we don't have to worry about AutoLayout at this point, okay? So if you're wondering what the short answer is to all this, it's no, you can't use AutoLayout constraints within SwiftUI because the whole point of SwiftUI is to kind of remove the need for AutoLayout in Storyboards and kind of recreate the entire UIKit experience. Now, they're obviously in a weird kind of spot where they can't replace it entirely, right? Because SwiftUI is a new thing, people are still using UIKit, and so on. Okay, so what we have to kind of combine UIKit with SwiftUI right now is UIViewRepresentable. Now, if you're really confused about what I'm saying and you're like, what direction are you going in? Just check out my last video that I uploaded yesterday because I use SwiftUI with UIKit, specifically MapKit with UIViewRepresentable. Now, if you watch that, you might gain a better understanding of how to use UIKit with SwiftUI and how to kind of avoid those AutoLayout constraints. Now, let's go ahead and just jump over into the declarative syntax description here. Now, if you read this, it says it uses a declarative syntax, so you can simply state what your user interface should do, and it works, right? Now, that's exactly what you can't do with AutoLayout constraints. You have to set up a big table view, you have to constrain it, and you have to have the data flow through it with its appropriate protocols, okay? So, short and short, your code is simpler and easier to read than ever before, saving you time and maintenance. Let's go ahead and test this out. Inside of Xcode here, you'll see that I have this list here. Now, you might be wondering, how did I get this to constrain to all the sides? And it really just depends on the certain things that you're using within SwiftUI, because if you just throw in some text that says, hey there, and I hit resume here, you're gonna see it's centered on the screen and it doesn't really expand to the left, top, bottom, and right. And if I give it a background of color dot, let's say black, and then let's give it a color of dot white. And what I'm gonna do is actually, yeah, that works. You'll see it doesn't expand to the left, top, and bottom. But as soon as we wrap this in a list object, you'll see that it expands to the left, right, top, and bottom, and it looks like a table view, okay? So it completely eliminates the need for AutoLayout, and we don't even need NSLayoutConstraint or Programmatic AutoLayout constraints with SwiftUI. But again, maybe we want to use things like MapView, and you can't just straight up use MapKit inside of SwiftUI. And that's where something like UIViewRepresentable comes in to bridge the gap between SwiftUI and UIKit while it comes into fruition and SwiftUI really takes UIKit's place. So I predict that UIKit will be deprecated in the future, but not for a good while, because SwiftUI is not anywhere near as accessible or usable as UIKit. And UIKit still is a great framework, and I actually kind of prefer it despite the verbose nature of the syntax. Okay, so not sure where it'll go, but I predict that SwiftUI is here to replace UIKit in the future, in the long future, like 4 to 5 years. But again, just speculation. I have no idea what they're gonna do, but that's my opinion. Now, what if we want to iterate over some data? Well, pretty simple. All we have to do is create a list of data and use a for each loop and tag it, much like you would with a key in React for a web application. So let's say let data, let's say let algorithms, let's say let data structures is equal to, and let's put in some data structures. Let's say linked list, and let's say hash table. And what's another one? Let's say, I guess we could put some algorithms in here as well. We could say like bubble sort, or we could say like, what's another good algorithm? I took the class. I can't remember why I can't remember all these. We could say something like, I'll put another data structure, binary search tree. I can't remember what these are called. I got an A- in the class though. I swear I'm good. I didn't do as great on the tests though. All right, anyway, let's iterate over this. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this, and instead of saying hey there, we just wanna put in like item, right? But where is this item? Well, we're gonna get it from iterating over it and assigning each one of these as item when it's on that item. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll say for each, and we'll say 0 less ... to right below data.count, data structures.count. And then what we'll do is we'll simply say text item. But how do we get this item? Well, we can simply get rid of item. We can just say data structures at, and we'll say $0, and then we have to tag it by saying tag 0. Now this syntax is probably really confusing, and you probably don't fully understand it yet if you haven't been watching all my videos here on YouTube. So just don't worry about it. This is really just kind of to show the list and how it works without auto layout constraints. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. Let's mark this with self real quick. And that should fix that. Let's go ahead and I'll get rid of the modifiers real quick, just for a second. And let me hit resume and it should work just fine. All right, there we go. So yeah, as you can see, it's kind of very simple. We didn't have to use auto layout constraints to the left, to the right, to the bottom, to the top, and we have our list just fine right here. So I kind of like this approach, but again, I also don't like it because it's almost like, depending on what you have in here, it's going to mess around with all of your other stuff, right? If we put in some text right here, it shouldn't do anything. It should just add it to the list. But the point is, I don't really like that this text is all of a sudden part of our table view, so to speak, right? I like things to be more precise, and that's why I prefer UIKit over SwiftUI as of right now. But anyway, it's super simple. You don't have to use auto layout constraints. And the answer to your question is no, you can't use auto layout constraints within SwiftUI, and it's for the better when using this framework. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you want to learn more about SwiftUI, make sure to check out my videos here on the channel, leave a like and subscribe, and drop a comment. Let me know what your thoughts are on SwiftUI and coding in general, and I'll see you around. Catch you next time.